Hey guys, BJ with a very basic Bible. My wife, she's asleep, can't talk all that loud. We're going to do a Ruth Bible study. See if we can actually get through it. Share my screen. Get to some, the rest of chapter 2 here. Yeah. We've talked plenty about how they were women really wanted babies. Lineage was passed down through men. The property rights of the land was passed down through men. All the inheritance was passed down through men. Men are the one who worked. Yeah. Patry means father. Patry everything. Yeah. So the woman was like, hey, I need a man to give me some kids, hopefully sons. So we will get the inheritance. So my name will live on, my name and my family. Today, we don't really care about that much, you know. If I die and I don't have any kids, oh, okay. So I die and I go to God. They didn't see it exactly the same back then. So when I say they, I don't mean Israelites. I don't mean ancient religious people. I don't mean people in the middle. I mean everybody. Everybody in the Middle East, the Near East, everybody in Israel and Babylon and Egypt and we've talked about Moab, everybody there in the desert area there. You know, today it's like Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Iran, everybody over there. That's how they thought. That was in their mind. It's not that, oh, we're reading what the Bible teaches. No, it's in the Bible because the Bible is recording real people, real history. So why would the Bible teach this? It doesn't. It records what's going on, you know, and it teaches us that God works with people where they're at. God doesn't give all sorts of crazy rules and say, hey, you're not perfect. Here's exactly how to be perfect. Now be that exact way. No. He gives them some rules. Yes. In fact, gives them lots of rules. Says, hey, do X, Y, and Z. But he doesn't try to change every little last part of them all at once. He works with me. I'm sure I make mistakes. I'm sure I have a mindset that is fundamentally different from God. I'm sure God would love to come into me and just change the way I think about the world. But hey, instead, he loves me anyway. He teaches me through my broken way of seeing the world. Yeah. Okay. So the whole everything went through men. It's just the way everybody saw it back then. You know, then the Bible is recording people. So we talked about how they walked everywhere. Ruth and her husband, Naomi and her husband and her sons. There's a famine in Egypt. They walk, 50, 100, 200 miles to get to Moab through wilderness and such. They just walk there. Okay, famine's over. Hey, let's go back. Ruth and Naomi, they walk back. Lots of hey, let's look. Let me see. One second. Okay. Ezra. Book of Ezra. Okay. Now, in the first year of Cyrus, king of Persia, Ezra is hundreds of years. There's a dude named Ezra. That's why the book is called Ezra. It's about a guy named Ezra. The book of Ezra records history hundreds of years after the book of Ruth. But let's look. All right. Okay. This is what Cyrus, king of Persia, says. The Lord, the God of heaven, has given Cyrus, All the kingdoms of the earth. All the kingdoms of the earth. Did he have Antarctica? Did he have Australia? Did he have South America? No, it's all the kingdoms of the earth that they knew about, as far as they could go, So, yeah. And he has appointed me to rebuild for him. God has appointed Cyrus, king of Persia, to rebuild for him a house in Jerusalem, which is in Judah. So, Jerusalem, which is in Judah. Yeah. Going to build a house. Who? Cyrus said, hey, God has given me all the kingdoms, and God has appointed me to rebuild. Is Cyrus going to go rebuild a house? No. Whoever there is among you of all God's people, may God be with him. Go up to Jerusalem, which is in Judah, and rebuild the house of the Lord, the God of Israel. Cyrus ain't going to go build the house. Whoever there is among you of God's people, may God be with him. Those people, God's people, are going to go up to Jerusalem, which is in Judah, and rebuild the house of the Lord. Okay, because the temple had been destroyed. Now Cyrus is like, hey, God's made me king of everything. I'm gonna rebuild his house. Hey, you people, you Judeans, you Israelites, you of all his people, go up to Jerusalem, which is in Judah, and rebuild the house of the Lord. So, okay. So go up there. Every survivor, at whatever place he may live, the people of that place are to support him with silver and gold, with equipment and cattle. Oh, okay. So every survivor, I'm not sure what that is. Okay. Let's see. Okay. The heads of the father's household of Judah, remember, which is in Judah, and Benjamin. Benjamin is just to the north of Judah. The heads of the father's households of Judah and Benjamin, and the priests and the Levites rose up, everyone whose spirit God had restored, to go up to rebuild the house of the Lord, which is in Jerusalem. And all those around the people, the households of Benjamin, the fathers, okay, them, all those around the Levites and the priests, encourage the Levites, all those around the earth, encourage the Levites. So all these articles, gold, silver, and equipment. Also, King Cyrus brought out articles, look at that, of the house of the Lord, which Nebuchadnezzar had carried away from Jerusalem. And okay, so we can see they're going to go up to Jerusalem from where they've been taken captive. How do they get there? You wonder, okay? Look at all these people returning. Remember I talked about how important genealogies were? This is the number of the men of the people of Israel. The sons of Perosh, 2020. The sons of Shephatiah, 372. The sons of Era, 775. The sons of Pahath and Moab, and the sons of Jehusha and Joab. 20. See, look at all these names here. They like names. They like stuff. Okay. Priests removed. Some of the priests were removed. Don't worry, guys. It's only 8 chapters. Altar and sacrifices restored. No, I can't. And we're talking about people just got up and walked. Babylon and Persia were very far away from Jerusalem. The king is like, hey, get up and go. And the people are like, okay, we'll get up and go. They don't have cars. They don't have airplanes. They get up from Babylon and Persia, which is way over here, and they walk hundreds of miles to get to Jerusalem. Through wilderness, through mountains. It's very hot during the summer, very cold during the winter, wild animals. All right. And yeah, they also celebrated the Feast of Booths. That's good. Okay, I'm looking with my eyes. I'm scanning. The builders, okay. Enemies hinder the work. King replies and the work stops. That's no good. Of the temple being built. Temple work. Enemies right to Darius. Darius finds Cyrus' decree. Temple comes to Passover held. Ezra journeys from Babylon to Jerusalem. So a lot of the people have already went back, and they are building. See, Darius finds a decree to build the temple. Temple work resumed. They're working on the temple. Enemies right to Darius. Okay. because they walked back from Babylon to, how many people went there? Now here's Ezra, who is named Ezra journeys from Babylon to Jerusalem. After these things, in the reign of King Artaxerxes, king of Persia, Ezra went up to Jerusalem. Ezra was the son of Hilkiah, son of Shalom, son of Zadok. Genealogies. He came to Jerusalem in the 5th month, which was in the 7th year of the king. Walked from, just hey, I need to get back home. I'm in Babylon, I need to get back to Jerusalem, hundreds of miles away. Walks over there. How crazy is that? So just shows they walked over there and they built a temple. They didn't say, hey, it's not my job. They started building it. Does every single person build it? I don't know, but it sounds like, hey, a lot of people, they went, started building a temple. Ruth, she walks back home. She says, hey, we need grain, or she walks home. Ruth and Naomi go back to Judah. Ruth says, hey, I need grain. She goes out and starts getting grain. Just like that. That's so strange to us. We would never do stuff like that. Everything has to do, it seems, with stuff. Everything they did seems like hard work to us. To them, seem normal. All right. Okay, we'll start with, one second. The Bible, no, I don't want to switch to the tab. The Bible.org. Let's just see what happens. The GT index. Okay. There's one. There's 1 second, guys. All right, 2. Ruth chapter 1. Go. So we'll start Ruth chapter 1, verse 22, I believe it is. So Naomi returned, and with her Ruth the Moabitess, her daughter-in-law, who returned from the land of Moab. It's kind of weird. Who returned? Who's the who? Okay, so Naomi returned, and with her is Naomi. Her, Naomi's daughter-in-law, who returned from the land of Moab. Well, they both returned from, I guess Naomi returned from the land of Moab because Ruth was born and raised in Moab. She's not returning from Moab. Okay, so it's talking about Naomi. Maybe the book should be called Naomi instead of Ruth. No. And they, Ruth and Naomi, came to Bethlehem at the beginning of the barley harvest. Now Naomi had a relative of her husband, a man of great wealth of the family of Elimelech, whose name was Boaz. Cool. And Ruth the Moabitess said to Naomi, Moabitess, remember, Boaz, Bethlehemite, Judean. Naomi, Bethlehemite, Judean, and Ruth, Moabitess, a different country. Please let me go to the field and glean among the ears of grain, following one whose eyes I may find favor. Naomi wasn't like, hey, Ruth, daughter-in-law, would you please go? Mom, look, you're not even my real mom. You want me to go work? No. Ruth is like, hey, let me go work. Let me go glean, I talked about how, women didn't get work, men did. Correct. Boaz owns the field. He's a dude. Boaz, servant, who is ahead of all the other servants, is a dude. But then there are women who would follow behind and glean. She's basically doing the job of a beggar, Glean among the ears of grain, following one whose eyes I may find favor. And she said to her, and Naomi said to Ruth, go, my daughter. So Ruth left and went and gleaned in the field after the reapers. Some reapers, the reapers, like a certain, no, just some reapers behind the harvesters. I guess if it's the barley harvest, there's going to be people in all the fields harvesting. She found a field. She goes behind the reapers. She happened to come to the portion of the field she was in, happened to belong to Boaz, who was of the family of Elimelech. Boaz, Elimelech, okay. Now behold, Boaz came from Bethlehem and said to the reapers, may the Lord be with you. Now remember, Ruth had been out gleaned in the field after the reapers. So she's there, okay. May the Lord be with you. And they said to him, May the Lord bless you. Then Boaz said to his servant who was in charge of the reapers, Who is this young woman is this? So Boaz must have noticed Ruth and been like, hey, I don't recognize her. I recognize the other ladies maybe, but I don't recognize her. For some reason, he asked about her. Maybe she had a funny hat. And no, I'm just, I don't know. I'm being silly. Okay. And the servant in charge of the reapers replied, She is the young Moabite woman who returned with Naomi from the land of Moab. And she said, Please let me glean and gather after the reapers among the sheaves. So she has come and has remained from morning until now. She has been sitting in the house for a little while. Then Boaz said to Ruth, so I guess Boaz went over to the house. Boaz found Ruth. Maybe Ruth was there. I don't know. Listen carefully, my daughter. Do not go to glean in another field. Stay in this field. Remember, she can't. This is Boaz's field. Does she know that yet? Has Boaz said, hey, this is my field. Stay here. What if she's like, who are you? Why are you telling me not to go to another field? I'll do whatever I want. That doesn't happen. It seems like I'm thinking Ruth just kind of understands. Do not go to glean another field. Furthermore, do not go out from this one, but join my young women here. Okay, so he says, hey, they're my young women. So Ruth probably knows. Keep your eyes on the field which my young women reap, and go after them. Go with the young women. Indeed, I have ordered the servants not to touch you. Oh, well, thank you, Mr. Boaz. When you are thirsty, go to the water jars. Let's see, vessels, okay. Go to the water jars and drink from what the servants draw. So the servants can't touch you. You're able to go to the water vessel and get some water. Man, he's taking care of her, it seems. Then Ruth fell on her face, bowing to the ground. That's a common thing, bowing. They bowed often back then, bowing all the time. Everybody's bowing here, bowing there, bowing everywhere. Bow wow like a dog. No. Okay. Said to him, why have I found favor in your sight that you should take notice of me, since I am a foreigner? So evidently, she knows that he knows she's a foreigner. Because that'd be awful strange, if she said, why would you take notice of me since I'm a foreigner? She might have said, why would you take notice of me? Somebody you don't know. Why would you take notice of me, a random lady? Why would you take notice of me out of all these other people? But instead, she points out that she is a foreigner. If he didn't know that, why would you take notice of me? Hey, did you know I was a foreigner? So you must know. Let's look at something real quick. Bible Gateway. Foreigner. Why would Ruth ask this question? Okay. I mean, Ruth should not have to ask this question. Hey, and the Lord said to Moses and Aaron, this is the ordinance of the Passover. No foreigner is to eat it. Maybe she's heard rules and regulations, laws, commands like this one. No foreigners to eat the Passover. Okay. Nor shall you offer any of these animals taken from the hand of a foreigner as the food of your God. So they will not be accepted. So you can't offer animals taken from a foreigner. Maybe she's like, I'm a foreigner, and I've heard this rule that y'all can't even accept animals from a foreigner. Maybe that's the way she thinks about it, Deuteronomy. From a foreigner you may acquire it, but your hand shall forgive whatever of yours is with your brother. Okay, from a foreigner you may require it, but your hand shall forgive whatever of yours is with your brother. You can require, say, payment. You can require restitution from the foreigner. But if it's your brother, you got to forgive him. You got to forgive it, okay? You don't have to forgive the foreigner. You may require it, but you have to forgive your brother. Wait, did God really say that? As you talk about forgiveness of sins, I'm sure that, let's see. At the end of every 7 years, you shall grant a release of debts. See, not sins, but debts like money. If you owed property, if you owed, hey, I'll pay you 10 cattle and 5 sheep, something like that. They traded. They didn't all have coins back then. A lot of it was like, I'll give you so many pounds of grain, stuff like that. Makes me think of in Texas, we talk about, in American history, we talk about beaver pelts. Indians, Native Americans, I guess, really wanted beaver pelts, So British American pioneers would get beaver pelts, would trade them with the Indians. The Indians are like, thank you, stuff like that. Okay, I'm sure the Native Americans wanted more than beaver pelts, but that's one that I recall from like grade school and stuff. You can't learn everything of what So release of debts, money, and product. And this is the regulation for the release of debts. So after every 7 years, you're going to release your debts. Here's the regulation for the release of debts. We've already been the regulation. It's going to be every 7 years. Well, we've already been told that. So that part is not going to be repeated probably. Okay, here's the regulation. Every creditor is to forgive what he has loaned to his neighbor. Okay, every creditor is to forgive what he's loaned to his neighbor. He shall not require of his neighbor and his brother every 7 years, because the Lord's release of debts has been proclaimed. From a foreigner you may require it, but your hand shall forgive whatever of yours is with your brother. Okay. However, there will be no poor among you, not even the foreigner, since the Lord will certainly bless you in the land which your God is giving you as an inheritance to possess, if only you listen obediently to the Lord your God, to follow carefully all this commandment which I'm commanding you today. I'm giving you a commandment that you're going to release the debts of people, of your brother. Not that from the foreigner you may require, but not from your brother. But then it says, however, nobody's going to be poor. Kind of strange, isn't it? For the Lord your God will have blessed you just as he has promised you, and you will lend to many nations. You will lend money to the nations, but you will not have to borrow. You will rule over many nations, but they will not rule over you. That's how awesome you're going to be if you follow his commandments. Let's see, Control F. But 1 second, guys. F-O-R-E-I, right there. F-O-R-E-I, Foreigner. How many? 1 second. Match 1 of 1. So, what about foreign? Nope, it says, whole words. Okay. Foreign, 1 of 1. 1 of 1. How about this? Stranger? No. Alien. Okay. Those are other words used for foreigner. So Ruth has probably heard stuff like this. You may charge interest to a foreigner, but to your countrymen you shall not charge interest. Man, that's harsh. Like to a foreigner, that's no good. Now, future generations, your son. Okay. That's it. That one. I looked at it real quick and didn't really help us. One from a king, you shall in fact appoint a king over you. One from among your countrymen you shall appoint as a king over yourselves. You may not put a foreigner over yourselves. Now, I wish I could find let's see. Stranger. Okay. No, not yet. Exodus. Let's see. What am I looking for? Remember, Ruth is like, since I am a foreigner, you've taken notice of me because I'm a foreigner. She's probably heard stuff about those laws I read. She's like, I'm not sure if foreigners are welcome. Also, she just knows probably that people are sinful. Okay. If a stranger resides with you and celebrates the Passover of the Lord, all of his males are to be circumcised, and then he shall come near to celebrate it, and he shall be like a native, but no uncircumcised male may eat it. So, hey, you got a stranger, he wants to become Jewish, that's fine, he can do it. Look at that. Circumcise all his males, circumcise them. He can become Jewish, he can eat the Jewish Passover. That means he is Jewish. Look at that. Not ethnically, not biologically, but culturally and familially. Familially? Family, you know, family. He is kin. He has been made family. Kind of like today we have godparents, or we have people that we say blood brothers, stuff like that, he's become their religion, the stranger, he or she. Well, I guess he is circumcised, and then if he does, then the woman does. And if the woman wants to, she's got to try and talk her husband into becoming a Jew. So but that's a good point. Ruth doesn't have a man. Ruth only has Naomi. Ruth cannot become, since Ruth doesn't have a man, to be circumcised and become Jewish. So then she will be Jewish through the man. She can't be Jewish. But Boaz is being so nice to her, even though we're reading all this stuff, Let's see. Okay. You shall not oppress a stranger, nor torment him, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt. Okay, that's good. That's good. So you can be nice, and you need to be nice to a stranger. You shall not oppress a stranger, since you yourself know the feelings of a stranger, for you also are strangers in the land of Egypt. So Ruth calls herself a foreigner, which she is, but maybe Boaz is thinking of her as a stranger. Okay. Exodus. Leviticus. Let's see. This will be a permanent statute for you. In the 7th month, on the 10th day of the month, you shall humble your not doing it, whether native. Okay. An annual atonement. Anyone from the house of Israel or from strangers who reside among them who offers a burnt offering or sacrifice. So strangers can offer burnt offerings and sacrifices. Hey, so you're a foreigner, you're a stranger. You can't do certain things, but you can do certain things. There's certain money laws, but then there's other things like sacrifice laws. And okay, God doesn't care about money. He does care about sacrifice. Okay, wait. Sacrifice as in the religious aspect. Becoming a Jew, becoming one of them. God wants us to become like him. Anyone from the house of Israel or from the stranger who resides among them who eats any blood, I will set my face against that person who eats the blood. So, hey, stranger or anyone from the house of Israel, both get the same punishment. So you can see how the law isn't exact, okay? So Ruth is like, hey, I'm a foreigner. She knows some of the rules, maybe, and then she knows other rules, maybe, about like, oh no, I know that foreigners are accepted, but I know they're not accepted. Strangers are accepted. You're supposed to love them, but they're not accepted in other circumstances. Mostly, though, just in this time period, foreigners just didn't like each other. Strangers, they just didn't like each other. You come from that place, I don't like you. You're from elsewhere, you're from somewhere else. That's just how it was in the ancient times, So she's probably thinking of all this, not only from the Israelite law, but just in general. So there's lots of Bible stories about the Israelites going places through the wilderness, and then the foreigners being like, hey, get off our land. And they're like, hey, we're not going to do anything. Nope, you're leaving anyway. No, I promise. I'm an Israelite. My God is a God of everything. He has told us not to touch anything of yours. We're not going to touch it. We just want to walk through on the road. And the people that live there, nope, go away. Too bad. We're going to come out and attack you, in fact. It's like foreigners just didn't like each other. They had to make, I mean, we just read about Ezra going back to build a temple because foreigners had come in and invaded the whole land of Israel. You know, I want to say you wish it was like today where everybody got along. Yeah, right. We still don't get along today, right? Okay. Boaz replied to Ruth. So is this Boaz's answer? Why have I found favor in your sight that you should take notice of me, since I am a foreigner? Boaz replied to her. Let's see what Boaz says. All that you have done for your mother-in-law after the death of your husband has been fully reported to me. And how you left your father and your mother in the land of your birth. She left her parents. That's right. Ruth didn't just leave Moab. Ruth wasn't like, okay, I'm here in Moab. Okay, now I'm going somewhere else. Bye. I mean, we do that today all the time. You know, kids grow up, they go off to college. You know, my brother, he went off to the military in Florida. Now he lives there. He hardly ever sees us anymore. Excuse me. Hardly ever sees us anymore. But and it's okay. He's over there. He left his father and his mother. Okay, he's still family though. Ruth leaving, she's no longer part of the family. She's cut off. She said, hey, bye-bye, I'm leaving. You know, like I said, you live here, that's who you are. You don't do stuff with foreigners and strangers. She left, she came over here. So he's like, hey, I can see how much you gave up to come here. You gave up your father, your mother, you gave up the land of your birth, you know, and came to a people that you previously did not know. All that you have done for your mother-in-law after the death of your husband has been fully reported to me. So, so you were kind to your mother-in-law. You did very good deeds with her. You took care of her. And I can see how much you've given up to come over here. Given up your family. You really are part of us. Like she said in this one, behold, your sister-in-law has gone back to her people and her gods. Return to your sister-in-law. But Ruth said, do not plead with me to turn back and leave you, or to turn back from following you. You know. May the Lord, so here's Boaz still. May the Lord reward your work. So Boaz is like, I'm not rewarding your work. The Lord, may the Lord reward your work. And may your wages be full from the Lord, the God of Israel, under whose wings you have come to take refuge. Everything comes from the Lord. Life, breath, everything we have comes from the Lord. Boaz knows that. Boaz is like, hey, whatever I have from the Lord. I could look at Bible verses. They're so numerous. Let's look up some examples. One second. Rain. Book of Acts. Yet God did not leave himself without witness, in that he did good and gave you rains from heaven and fruitful seasons, satisfying your hearts with food and gladness. God gives it to you. God. Okay? We don't make the rain come. God gives it to us. You know? Victory. Let's look. But thanks be to God who gives us the victory through our Lord Jesus Christ. We don't gain the victory. Thanks be to God who gives us the victory. Okay? Then he became very thirsty. Samson, this is about Samson, I promise. And Samson called to the Lord and said, you have handed this great victory over to your servant. You, God, have handed it over. And now am I to die of thirst and fall into the hands of the uncircumcised? And then God gives them water. God gave them water. You know? Oh, the Lord brought about a great victory for all Israel. You saw it rejoice. Now, sometimes the Lord gives us into the hands of his enemies even. Let's see. When you go out, Deuteronomy 20, when you go out to battle against your enemies, And the Lord your God hands them over to you, and you take the captive away. So God is the one who gives the enemies. Okay. Then the anger of the Lord burned against Israel because they did stupid stuff. And he handed them over to plunderers, and they plundered them. The plunderers plundered Israel. God sold them into the hands of their enemies around them, so they could no longer stand against their enemies. God did that. They were doing bad stuff. God's like, hey, I'll give you into the hand of your plunderers. Everything comes from the Lord. Everything. May the Lord reward your work. May your wages be full from the Lord, the God of Israel, under whose wings you have come to take refuge. Wings. Let's look that up real quick. Let's see. Oh, you yourselves have seen what I did to the Egyptians. Exodus 19. So this is God talking through Moses. And how I carried you on eagle's wings and brought you to myself. God carried them on eagle's wings, and God brought them to himself. Wait, so God had eagle's wings. He set them on it, and then God was like, so he's got his arm out here. He sets them on the eagle's wings, and then he brings them to himself. It's metaphor. It's a poem, right? Let's see, 19:4. In the 3rd month, after the sons of Israel, after the Judeans, the Israelites, the Hebrews, okay? They don't have the land of Judah yet. They don't call it that yet. So right now we still call it the sons of Israel. Okay. In the 3rd month after these sons of Israel had gone out of the land of Egypt, on that very day, they came into the wilderness of Sinai. It took them 3 months to get to the wilderness of Sinai. When they had set out from Rephidim, they came to the wilderness of Sinai and camped in the wilderness. Okay, I'd already told us that. They came to the wilderness of Sinai. When they set out from Rephidim, they came to the wilderness of Sinai and camped in the wilderness. That's good. What else are they going to do? They played football in the wilderness. I don't know. And there Israel camped in front of the mountain. And Moses went up to God, and the Lord called to him from the mountain, saying, this is what you, Moses, shall say to the house of Jacob and tell the sons of Israel. You see this little right there, quotation. So Moses goes up to the mountain. All the people are camped by the mountain. Moses, this is what you shall say to the house of Jacob. The house of Jacob and sons of Israel, same people. House means family. The family of Jacob. Sons is family. Family of Israel. Israel and Jacob, same person. Jacob's name was changed to Israel. Okay, sorry, guys. This is what you shall say to the house of Jacob and tell the sons of Israel. House of Jacob, sons of Israel, same people. You yourselves, so this is what Moses is going to tell them. You yourselves have seen what I did to the Egyptians, how I carried you on eagle's wings and brought you to myself. Okay, it's metaphorical. It must be poetic. God doesn't have eagle's wings. I mean, I guess he could, he owns all the eagles. He himself is a spirit. I mean, I guess he could show up as an eagle. How can he bring people to himself? Oh, it's the Trinity. It's one person of the Trinity bringing himself to another person. It's just metaphorical. I mean, look, in the 3rd month after the sons of Israel had gone out from the land of Egypt, you have seen what I did to the Egyptians. They just came out of the land of Egypt. How I carried you on eagle's wings, brought you to myself. Okay, makes sense, right? Now then, if you will indeed obey my voice, keep my covenant, then you shall be my own possession. So wings, that's a common, Let's go back. The cherubim shall have wings, cherubim wings. It shall tear it by the wings, but it shall not sever it. He shall spread wings. He caught them. He carried them. Oh, hey. Huh. Let's see what this is. Oh, no, let's look. Listen, you heavens, and I will speak, and let the earth hear the words of my mouth. Song of Moses. May my teaching drip as the rain, my speech trickle as the dew, as droplets on the fresh grass, and as the showers of on the vegetation. Very poetic. For I proclaim the name of the Lord. Ascribe greatness to our God. His teaching is going to drip like rain. Moses' teaching is going to sprinkle like dew, trickle like dew. Why? For Moses is going to proclaim the name of the Lord. Ascribe greatness to our God. The rock, his work is perfect, for all his ways are just, a God of faithfulness and without injustice. Righteous and just is God. Okay, that's good teaching. That he is the rock, that his ways, the work is perfect. What's that? Oh, okay, it has, okay. They have acted corruptly against God. So he's changed right here. They are not his children because of their defect, but are a perverse and crooked generation. Who are they? I'm not sure. We're trying to find the wings part. Okay, so I'm going to go down here and see. Oh, hey, I found it. Jacob is the allotment of his inheritance. He found Jacob, and God found Jacob in a desert land, in the howling wasteland of a wilderness. God encircled Jacob. He cared for Jacob. He guarded him as the apple of his eye. As an eagle stirs up its nest and hovers over its young, he spread his wings. He caught them. He carried them on his pinions. So God's likening himself to an eagle. God's saying, I found Jacob in the desert. I guarded Jacob as the apple of my eye. As an eagle stirs up its nest and hovers, God spread his wings and caught Jacob. God carried them on his pinions. The Lord alone guided them. And there was no foreign God. Okay, so you can see the wings, There's a famous verse in Isaiah. Let's see. Oh, hey, down here. Ruth 2:12. Under whose wings you have come to take refuge. Okay, we were just talking about here, Deuteronomy. Hovers over it, he spread his wings over them. The God of Israel, under whose wings you have taken refuge. Pretty cool, huh? Okay, very important verse. Watch this. Jerusalem, Jerusalem, who kills the prophets and stones those who have been sent to her. Yikes. How often this is Jesus talking. Jesus is talking here. How often Jesus, wanted to gather your children together the way a hen gathers her chicks under her wings, and you were unwilling. They were unwilling. Look, they killed prophets. They stoned those who have been sent to her. Jesus says, hey, I wanted to gather you, but you're unwilling. The way a hen gathers her chicks under her wings, I wanted to gather you. But you started killing prophets and stoning people. I wanted to gather you. Like, okay. I mean, you could see how wings is a common metaphor. Let's look at one just for fun. What's this say? When you set your eyes on it, it's gone. For wealth certainly makes those wings like an eagle, and it flies toward that. Wealth flies away on wings. So that's a little different use of the word wings. So remember, just because wings is used one way in one place doesn't mean it's used the same way every place. But yeah, common thing for God for us to speak of God, wings. Wings, I mean, they were in nature, unlike us, We might talk about protected by a mighty brick wall or something. But hey, they were in nature. Wings from an eagle. Then Ruth said, I have found faith. Okay, so Boaz, may the Lord reward your work, and may your wages be full from the Lord. So this Boaz, pretty awesome guy. He's not saying, hey, don't worry, I'll take care of you. He said, I'm up here. Boaz said, keep your eyes on the field which they reap and go after them. I have ordered my servants not to touch you. Boaz said, do not glean in another field. Hey, in fact, get water. So Boaz is telling her, hey, I'm going to give you these instructions. Stay with me. Stay with my women. Stay and get water from where I'm giving you. May the Lord reward your work. May your wages be full from the Lord. So even though Boaz has set the circumstances up, he's saying it's all from the Lord. Pretty cool, huh? It's not, hey, I'm going to set all the circumstances up and God has nothing to do with it. And it's not, do whatever God says. Okay, bye. No, it's you set the circumstances, you work and such, and it all comes from the Lord. It's pretty cool. We are God's body. Jesus is the head. We are the arms and the legs. And that, so Jesus, the head, controls the body, right? The head controls the body, and Jesus is the head. Oh, my cat's over there sneezing at his head, out of his head, his nose, whatever. So, yeah, we do stuff, and it's all from the Lord. We love people, and it's all from the Lord. We say, hey, do X, Y, and Z. We teach people, and it's all from the Lord. I mean, Boaz seems to have that down. It's pretty cool, huh? Then Ruth said, I have found favor in your sight, my Lord, for you have comforted me, and indeed have spoke kindly to your servant, though I am not like one of your female servants. She's like, hey, you've spoken kind to me, even though I'm a foreigner. You have comforted me, and indeed have spoken. Even I'm not like one of your female servants. I'm a foreigner, but you've still done it. Pretty cool, huh? Let me look at something. I just thought about something. Luke chapter 2. Jesus presented the temple. The angel departed the same region. Okay, we'll go back to Luke chapter 1. John the Baptist's birth foretold. Zechariah, Jesus' birth foretold. Okay. Look at this. Now in the 6th month, the angel Gabriel was sent from God to a city in Galilee named Nazareth, to a virgin betrothed to a man whose name was Joseph, the descendants of David, and the virgin's name was Mary. So an angel went to Nazareth to a virgin named Mary who was going to be married to a dude named Joseph. Okay, there's an angel going to Joseph's wife. I keep talking about how it's the man. The men are the important people. Hey, an angel going to a woman. Okay, and coming in, the angel said to the Mary, greetings, favored one, the Lord is with you. But she was very perplexed at this statement and was pondering what kind of greeting this was. So she's kind of like Ruth. Ruth is like, huh, what's going on? I don't know. The angel said to her, do not be afraid, Mary, for you have found favor with God. Hey, Ruth, you found favor in Boaz's sight. Behold, you will conceive in your womb and give birth to a son, and you shall name him Jesus. Oh, wait. We didn't read that part. I guess Boaz said, may the Lord increase your work. Hey, may the Lord increase your work. Am I saying that Luke here in the New Testament, when Luke was talking about Jesus, that Luke was thinking about the book of Ruth? Not really, no. I'm just saying, hey, in the Bible, the similar situation, another part of the Bible, look at this. But Mary said to the angel, how will this be, since I am a virgin? Ruth is like, hey, I'm a foreigner. Why are you being so nice to me? How can you do that? If God can send an angel and give a virgin a baby, then surely Boaz, even though the law says some seemingly negative things about foreigners, Boaz can still love the foreigner. Boaz can still care for the foreigner. It's pretty cool. She's like, I'm not like one of your, down here, verse 13, though I am not like one of your female servants. You have comforted me and indeed spoken kindly to me. She called him a servant. Whether she's saying I'm literally your servant, or she's just using the word servant, to be like all I am is your servant. That's all I am, but you're still nice to me. Okay. How much time we got here? 53 minutes. Well, we'll read a little longer. And at mealtime, Boaz said to her, okay, it's mealtime, probably dinner. This is probably the same day. In fact, we've read down before, all the way down to verse 23. We've gotten through that. We read it kind of quickly, and it really seems like it's the same day. So that same day, I'm sorry, where is it at? I've lost it. Verse 13. So I'm going to assume it's the same day for now. At mealtime, Boaz said to her, so he went out, found her, talked to her. Does he talk to other people? I'm sure, but I'm sure he went out and talked to his servants. I'm sure he talked to the other female servants. But we're focusing on the story of Ruth. So, I mean, that's what it's gonna, it's gonna focus on her. And Boaz said to Ruth, "Come here, that you may eat of the bread and dip your piece of bread in the vinegar." How do we know that her is Ruth? It's got to be Ruth because he was just talking to Ruth here. Now there's a new paragraph, and it is now mealtime. We're not told how much time has passed. We're told she has been working all day, but we can safely assume that that's Ruth. In fact, let's read further and see if it's Ruth. You're like, BJ, duh, of course it's Ruth. BJ, yes, we know it's Ruth. We question the Bible to get answers. Remember, very basic Bible. I'm not saying it's so basic that we don't know who the her is. No, no, no. It's very basic in that I treat myself like I'm basic, like I don't know anything. So then I approach the text, not as a know-it-all, not as, oh, I already know what this means. I don't approach it and read through it so fast because, oh, that's easy to understand, because that's where mistakes are made. Because why do I make mistakes? I'm basic. That's a slang term. I'm basic. I'm dumb. I'm stupid. I'm not smart about the Bible. I need to learn, and I'm sinful. My mind. I'm gonna want to read the wrong things, so I question it. I'm kind of questioning my own interpretation. And at mealtime, Boaz said to her, "Oh, that must be Ruth. Come here. Wait, is it Ruth? I don't know." I question myself, and hopefully it helps me learn the Bible better. Okay, yeah. Come here, that you may eat of the bread and dip your piece of bread in the vinegar. That you may eat of the bread and dip your piece of bread in the vinegar. Why would that matter? Why would that matter? Huh. Foreigners, from what I've been told, meals very important in the Bible. Can't think of any specific examples where there were foreigners like, hey, come and eat with me because you're a foreigner and we'll make an alliance. There are like, I'll get married to your daughter, then we'll make an alliance. There are, hey, I'll pay your servants money and they'll build stuff for me, and then in return I'll give you something. And that's how foreigners interact. There's we won't take over you. We've got a huge army. We won't take over you if you pay us tribute, which means taxes. Basically, you give them a bunch of money every year. Foreigners go that way. Foreigners might get with each other like, hey, we need to beat these people up. So let's all get together. Even though we're enemies, let's all get together so we can beat those people up. Can't think of any examples of meals and foreigners. But let's see. Mamre, by the oaks of Mamre. Then Abram, before he was Abraham, Abram moved his tent and came and lived by the oaks of Mamre, which are in Hebron, and there he built an altar to the Lord. Okay, he was residing by the oaks of Mamre. The birth of Isaac promised right here. Full chapter. Now the Lord appeared to Abraham by the oaks of Mamre while he was sitting at the tent door in the heat of the day. Okay, so that looks, I believe that is an introduction statement. I'm not sure why you'll see in a minute why I think that's an introduction statement. Now the Lord appeared to Abraham by the oaks of Mamre while Abraham was sitting at the tent door in the heat of the day. When Abraham raised his eyes and looked, behold, 3 men were standing opposite him. And when he saw the men, he ran from the tent door to meet them and bowed down to the ground and said, "My Lord." Now look, L, capital L, but small O-R-D. Does he know this is God? Right now it says he raised his eyes and he saw 3 men. And then he runs, "And my Lord, if I found favor in your sight, don't pass your servant. Please let a little water and wash your feet." Very hospitable. Abraham hurried in the tent and said, "Quickly prepare 3 measures." Does he know it's God? Maybe, maybe not. But he is being very hospitable to her. Okay. Then they said to him, "Where's your wife Sarah?" And Abram said, "She's in the tent." Okay. They said to him, where's Sarah? Abraham said, he's in your tent. He said, it's a little strange. I will certainly return to you at this time next year, and behold, your wife Sarah will have a son. He's been told that by God before. The Lord has told him that before. So if he didn't know before, he now knows it's the Lord. So what's he do up here? He's like, hey, there's some people. Let's give them a meal. Let's wash their feet. Let them come in and eat. Then down here, whoa, it's God. Oh my. You know, some people entertained angels unaware, we're told in the book of Hebrews. Eating is evidently a very sacred thing. There's a part where in the book of Exodus, I think, where they go up to the mountain, and it says the elders and Moses went up and ate food with God, and they saw God, yet God didn't strike them dead. If you see God, you're in trouble. But that didn't happen. He ate with them. He was saying, look, guys, I want to love you. I want to be with you. I will share a meal with you. Okay. So she sat beside the reapers, and he served Boaz, I'm guessing, her roasted grain, and she ate and was satisfied and had some left. Pretty cool. She ate and was satisfied. I mean, she had been working all day, remember? So when she got up to glean, Boaz commanded his servants, saying, wait, we've already been told this. We've already been told. Boaz was like, up here, all that you have done. All right. Where's it at? The water draws. Indeed, I have ordered the servants not to touch you. Okay, let's go down here. When she got up, Boaz commanded his servants, saying, let her glean even among the sheaves, and do not insult her. Even among the sheaves. Like let her glean. You've packed up the stuff, you know, you put it in bundles. You packed up the wheat and put it in bundles. That's a sheave. You've got all these sheaves over there. You've already done the work. Let her not just walk behind you while you're making sheaves, but even the sheaves that are already done, you've already said, let her go over there and get stuff. And do not assault her. Also, you are to purposely slip out some grains for her, some grain from the bundles, and leave it so that she may glean, and do not rebuke her. Pretty awesome. Boaz, what is Boaz doing? What kind of guy is this? Why in the world is he so nice? He heard everything he did, but why is he, man? You know, Naomi is a relative of Elimelech, is a husband of Elimelech. Naomi is the wife of Elimelech. Boaz is a relative of Elimelech. He's probably thinking, I need to take care of my own. Probably, you know. We're not told yet why he's suddenly being so nice, except that, hey, I heard everything good you did. I mean, did anybody else do good? Why wasn't he nice to all these other people who were doing? Maybe nobody else was that good, you know. So, okay, I'm gonna look up here for something real quick. Listen carefully, do not glean another field. Furthermore, do not go from this one. Yeah, glean in my field, because I order you don't know this, but I'm gonna tell my servants to purposely drop some grain for you. So stay here. Keep your eyes on the field which they reap and go after them. I have ordered them not to touch you. Yeah. All that you have done for your mother-in-law, one of my relatives, after the death of your husband, one of my relatives has been fully reported to me. Okay. I mean, he doesn't say that, but maybe he's thinking that. Maybe he's just be nice. Why did he be nice to her? It doesn't say exactly. Okay, so she gleaned in the field until evening. Then she beat out what she had gleaned. Beat out? She beat out what she had gleaned. And it was about an ephah of barley. Now let's look. And she beat out what she had gleaned. When she threshed what she had gathered. Gathered. Gleaned. Gathered. Okay. She beat out what she gleaned. Then she threshed the barley she had gathered. She beat out what she gathered. When she beat out the grain that evening, when she beat it out, okay. Beat out. Let's try this. It might just come up with Ruth. Oh, there it is. So she gleaned, and then she beat out Ruth 2:17. Okay. It's Gideon 6:11. Then the angel of the Lord came and sat under the oak that was in Ophrah, which belonged to Joash the Abiezrite, as his son, Joash the Abiezrite. Oh, Joash the Abiezrite has a son named Gideon. Gideon was beating out wheat in the winepress in order to save it from the Midianites. So he's inside of has a winepress big? Is he hiding in the winepress? Maybe the Midianites he's in order to save it from the Midianites. Were the Midianites going to come steal it? Were they, and so he puts it in the winepress so they can't get to it. I don't know, but his son Gideon was beating out wheat, okay, in the winepress, okay. Okay, let's say, for dill is not threshed with a threshing sledge, nor is the cartwheel driven over cumin. Dill, cumin, spices. You don't thresh a dill with a threshing sledge. You don't drive a cartwheel over cumin. Dill is beaten out with a rod. Okay, so just like you beat out wheat or barley, you beat out dill with a rod, I guess. After beating us in public. Oh, that's a different one. Let's look at thresh. We saw that word, right? Thresh. Okay. Over here. She gathered grain when she threshed what she had gathered. Right here. She beat out what she had gleaned. Then she threshed the barley she had gathered. When they came to the threshing floor of Atad. Okay, the threshing floor. The wine press, a threshing floor, is that the same, but one's for grain and stuff? Indeed, your threshing season will last for you until the grape gathering, and grape gathering will last until sowing time. So you will eat your food to the full and live so. You got your threshing season whenever you beat out the grain. Then you got your grape gathering, and then you sow the field. You sow it so that you can thresh, so you can reap and thresh more. You reap and thresh, and then you go get your grapes. Then once you're done with your grapes, you sow until you can, yeah. Okay. You shall be credited. Your offering shall be credited to you like the grain from the threshing floor. Okay. Or the full produce from the wine vat. So the grain from the threshing floor. So we know grain and threshing floor have to deal with each other. Then the rest shall be credited to Levi when you have offered from the best. Oh, yeah, the threshing floor, same thing. You shall give generously to him from your flock in the fields, your threshing floor, your grain, and your wine vat, your grapes. We've read about all that. I mean, agriculture. So, okay, 1 second, guys. Oh, look at this. But now then is Boaz not a relative with those young women you were? Behold, he is winnowing barley at the threshing floor. Okay, the place where you thresh the wheat. All right, I'm going to find real quick just to explain this, and then I'm going to go. Matthew chapter 1. His is God. God's winnowing fork is in God's hand. God's got a winnowing fork in his hand. Winnowing, huh? We just read in that other winnowing, okay? And he will thoroughly clear his threshing floor. Okay, so whatever a winnowing fork is, I think of it as like maybe a pitchfork. He will clear his threshing floor. So he's going to do some threshing. He will gather his wheat into the barn. Okay, so after he threshes with his winnowing fork, he gathers the wheat into his barn, but he will burn up the chaff with unquenchable fire. Wheat, chaff. Right here, Luke 3:17. Okay, his winnowing fork is in his hand. His winnowing fork is in his hand. John the Baptist is saying this. And God will thoroughly clear the threshing floor. to thoroughly clear his threshing floor, to gather the wheat into his barn, but he will burn up the chaff with unquenchable fire. Chaff, it's like, imagine a peanut, and then you got the husk, the shell of a peanut. You take the peanut out, you throw the shell away, you eat the peanut. Corn, okay, you got to take the stalks off, the green stuff. Banana has a peel. You take the peel off, the peel goes into the trash. You keep the banana, you eat it. To gather the banana into his barn, but he will burn up the banana peel with unquenchable fire. So don't be chaff, be wheat, okay? Let's look up chaff real quick. Psalm 1. It doesn't say, in the greatness of your excellence, the wise capitalized, so must be God. 15:17, this is a song of Moses. In the greatness of your excellence, God, you overthrow those who rise up against you. You send out your burning anger, and those who rise up against you, your burning anger consumes those who rise up against you like chaff. Chaff must be easily burnable, or they burn up because they don't eat it. What's the point in chaff? You can't eat it, I guess. You want the wheat. You want the wheat, not the chaff. We've been told they get rid of the chaff and they keep the wheat. And here, out of your burning anger consumes the people who rise up against you like chaff. Just like John the Baptist is saying, he will put his wheat in his barn, but he will burn up his chaff. We read that, remember, in Matthew and Luke a moment ago. Job is really good for this stuff. Are they as straw before the wind and like chaff, which the storm carries away? So a storm carries away chaff, okay? At least Psalm 1:4. The wicked are not so, but the wicked are like chaff, which the wind blows away. Let them, probably the wicked, be like chaff before the wind, with the angel of the Lord driving them on, probably. I'm curious about that, but because why would an angel of the Lord drive them on? An angel of the Lord could be driving on good. I'm curious about that, but I want to end soon, so I'm not going to pursue that. Yeah, 111. Okay, I think you get it. I mean, I think you get that what wheat and chaff is, okay? So Ruth, where was it at? So she gleaned in the field until evening, behind the men and amongst the stalks and all that. She'll say she's in the field, but they probably put sheaves in the field. Then she beat out what she had gleaned. Probably used a winnowing fork. I talked about a winnowing fork in Matthew. Maybe not. She beat it out. I guess when she beats it, the wind blows the chaff away. I'm just trying to connect all the dots here from the Bible. And it was about an ephah of barley. We talked about wheat, but barley, the same. Barley also had, she had to beat it out. Is barley the same? Not sure, but probably a lot of work involved. So, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and end here. Stop share. We'll pray for the night because it is at night. It is 3:34 a.m. Texas time. So me and my very pixelated, not good on the camera face, we'll pray for y'all. We'll all pray together. God hears our prayers, whether it's me praying for you via YouTube or you praying in your mind or whatever. God loves us. Yeah. Lord God, thank you for being good to us and kind to us. And though we don't have all the answers, wheat, chaff, what's the point in that? Lord, it's in your word, and your word is a revelation to us, and your word comes to us. Thank you for letting us study, Lord, and to figure this stuff out, to figure out your word and what you've revealed to us. Thank you for your son, Jesus, who died for us, for the Spirit who lives inside of us. Amen. See you guys in the next video.